In this video, we're going to be talking about how do you know if you have a blocked root chakra? There's three parts to this video. Part number one is what do you need to know about your root chakra? Part number two is how do you know when your root chakra specifically is out of balance, out of alignment, and also how does it feel when it is balanced? And part number three, we're going to dive into how to start creating sustainable balance within your root chakra. Okay, before we get to it, I want to invite you to check out in the description below a free chakra guide that I have for you. So in the chakra guide, you're going to have all of the chakras and it has characteristics, different tools and different practices that you can do for each energy center. But in this video, we're going to dive a little bit deeper beyond this guide. So let's get to it. These are the chakras, right? So we're talking about the root chakra. This is the first energy center. We're talking about the 7 main energy centers. Of course, there are way more than 7, but what I like to work with the 7 main energy centers, which is what we have right here. So we're going to talk today about the first energy center, and it's in the bottom. It's the red in color. So this energy center is located in the base of the spine, and this energy center is coming online when we're being created inside our mother's womb. So whenever we're being created inside our mother's womb, this is where we're starting to already encode information about where we came from, about our ancestral lineage, about our past lives, about the collective, about childhood. I mean, not childhood because we're not born yet, but that's where we already starting to encode all of this information before we even came into this reality. Before we even born, we're already starting to encode all of that information into our root chakra, in our energetic body. And this brings me to this very important thing to be aware of, is that our root chakra is totally being hijacked. Before we even came to this world, our root chakra is already encoded a lot of information that then is going to impact our life, especially from age 7 or 8. That's when we're kind of coming out of this hypnotic state, and that's where everything is starting to hit us, right? So all of the generational programmings, generational trauma, childhood trauma, if we have some past life stuff, all the collective and society programming and templates and stories and patterns, all of these things are just waiting for us to, once we come out of the hypnotic state, to basically hit us. And that's usually happens around age 7 or 8. So when we're talking about the root chakra, this is when, no matter who you are, if you're a human on planet Earth, your root chakra is probably being hijacked just from you being a human on planet Earth. And this is really important thing to know, because when you know that, you then first of all understand some of these programmings and some of these ways that some of the beliefs that you have about yourself, about your family, about life, and where it came from. And then when you become aware, that's more than 75% of the process. And that's when you can start working with it. That's when you can start really diving into this deep work and transmute some of these energies. Now, I really like to talk about the chakras in a very almost like in a very scientific way, in a very bring it down to earth kind of way, really bring it down to earth and make it tangible, make it we can feel it, we can touch it. And so this is what we're going to be talking about. This is what the way that I personally always like to bring it into this world. So the root chakra, the first energy center in the base of our spine, it's red in color, and it has more a masculine energy to it. It's like the structure of the building. This is what holds the entire building. So it's has this more masculine energy. Now, if you're talking about different traditions, of course, some traditions would tell you every energy center has both masculine and feminine, because everything has polarity in it. But I'm talking about the overall energy and the energy signature of this energy center is more masculine. When we're talking about the root chakra, this is the energy center that is very tribal. So it's related to all of the groups that you came from. So we're starting from the biggest group in this human experience, which is species. Okay, so being human. Then we're going to race, culture, country you came from, family you came from, maybe gender. It can also be a political view. So I'm kind of I belong to this group. So it's like kind of really pointing to that is associated with all of the groups that you came from. It's a very tribal kind of energy center. So if you're thinking about you're someone that came from a religious background and you have a lot of religious programmings that are associated with the religion that you came from, just like me, because I came from a super orthodox cult in Israel, all of those programmings are being encoded in my root chakra. Okay, that's associated with the group I came from. Now, the root chakra is associated with safety, security, stability, groundedness, belonging, trust, survival needs such as food, shelter, and it's deeply, deeply connected to childhood programming, ancestral programming. So again, your lineage and past lives. I want to speak to this a little bit because when you are, let's say, you're part of a certain religion and there's a certain belief that you are kind of encoded in your root chakra, in your energy body, in your root chakra specifically. And if you're someone that is kind of going by this belief, you're almost like evolving in the pace of the entire religion or that entire group. And this is almost like that like level of consciousness that you're in. And what it really means is like when we are operating from that like level of consciousness, it is always going to be slower to evolve. And it's because we are literally waiting for an entire group to evolve together. And it's just the reality of things and nature of things that whenever there's a big group that you're waiting to evolve with, it's just going to take a little bit more time. I feel like really finding that individuation and this like path of like, this is like my own path, like who I am and what is my truth, and allow yourself to deprogram all the programmings and to heal the trauma. When you're doing that, you can't really wait for your entire group to come with you, because it doesn't work like that. So this is where most people that you look at, most people that are on this spiritual path and like really finding their own authenticity, like who am I in the world? What is my values in the world? What is my truth in the world? And like kind of following that path, you'll notice that a lot of these people are like moved away from the tribe. They moved away from like the collective consciousness of the group that they came from. So like when we're talking about like moving beyond the root chakra consciousness, it's like we have to kind of move up in the chakras and into like higher levels like of consciousness. But it's not, when we're talking about the root chakra or any chakra really, it's not about like we don't want to look at this. Like all of these chakras, if someone is asking me like, okay, Hannah, which chakra is most important to work on? Like, I'm probably gonna make a whole YouTube video about it, but it's not just one chakra that is important to work on. It's all of them. Like all of them, in order for you to live balanced, vital, like authentic, powerful, you're like you, like really being in the wholeness of who you are, you really have to integrate and like balance all of them together as one tree, as one building. Does that make sense? I would love to hear your comments in the comment section below. So please, please, please comment. I would love to hear what you're getting from it and where you're at with that. Let's talk about what happens when the root chakra is out of balance and how it's impacting your life, how it's manifesting in your physical reality. So it can look like a lot of fear, like experiencing a lot of fear. So fear is the blockage of the root chakra. Now, when I say the blockage of the root chakra, it doesn't mean that the fear is only manifested in the root chakra, but it's the blockage of the root chakra because, again, when we're talking about the root chakra, we're talking about safety. We talk about security. We're talking about stability. We're talking about like really feeling safe within our bodies, within our families, within the world. So this is why fear is the biggest blockage for the root chakra. So whenever we're experiencing fear, anxiety, feeling unsafety in our bodies, in the world, in our family, a lot of chronic disease issues in your hips down. So hips, legs, knees, ankles, immunity weakness or immunity issues, bones, like if you're someone that is experiencing some issues with your bones, this is also being manifested in this energy center. If you're someone that is experiencing lack of energy, lethargic feeling, fatigue, like tired all the time, like feeling of struggles, you're like lacking trust in yourself, trust in the world, trust in the universe, trust in others. You're someone that needs to overly control situations and people in order to feel safe. And it can, again, show up in so many different ways. There's so many symptoms to those root like energetic misalignments. If you're feeling lost or ungrounded, if you're someone that has fear around, I mean, fear in general, but specifically around like finances, like if you experience financial instability and, you know, some fear-based stuff around like food and shelter, like a lot of the times like eating disorders are being manifested in this root chakra because there's like a deep sense of like not feeling safe, in the world. So there's like almost like a way that we as humans, like we kind of have this talent where we're kind of projecting it onto other things. If you're someone that is experiencing fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, again, fear in general, lack of common sense and irrational ways of like decision making, a lot of the times it can look like inability to relax, inability to surrender, paranoia, hypervigilant, and also OCD stuff. So like OCD is a way that we try to control our environment. So it can look like a lot of ways. It can look like trying to control situations, trying to control people. Again, there's a lot, like a big scale of what it could look like in your own life. Whenever you feel like a sense of not belonging, like not belonging in situations, in places, you're feeling out of place, feeling unstable in your life. It can look like a lot of the times anxiety, depression, stress. All of these things are very, very huge in the root chakra because if we go really, 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 really deep into those root causes of what's the root that is causing these symptoms, a lot of the times when you go really, really deep, it sits on safety, like lack of safety. Lack of safety. It wasn't safe to feel my emotions. It wasn't safe to be me. It wasn't safe to speak my truth. It wasn't safe to be a woman. Whatever it may be like for you. And like so all of those experiences from childhood and even generational ancestral stuff and even past lives, it's encoded in this energy center that we have to become aware of it and then help this energy center come back to balance, which is what we're going to dive into the next part of this video. But now I want to share with you, what does a balanced energy center looks like and feels like, and how does it manifest in your life? You feel a sense of trust in yourself. You feel a sense of trust in the universe, trust in the world, trust in that everything happening for me. It's not happening to me, it's happening for me. There's like this deep sense of trust in life. You feel vital, you feel healthy, you feel strong. You feel super connected to the earth, to yourself. You feel grounded, safe, secure. Your financial, it's not even about your financial status, but it's like you don't have any fear around your finances or around, you just like have a sense of peace and trust and just know that everything is working out perfectly for you. You experience abundance everywhere you look around you. You are really connected to that abundance energy. You know that this energy is not separate from you. It is actually you. You feel a sense of belonging everywhere you go. You feel so connected to yourself, to your body, to the people around you. Your nervous system is relaxed. You can face life's challenges with a lot of calmness and a lot of peace. Because the root chakra is the foundation of your building, this is like literally your roots to the building. This is your root chakra. There's a reason why it's called your root chakra, because it's the roots of the entire like tree. Like because it's your roots, I always say you have to start here. You have to start in your root chakra because this is a foundation of your entire building. I see a lot of people, especially in spiritual communities, when they're looking at the chakras and they're like, oh, I want to open my third eye, I want to open my crown, I want to feel connected to to my spiritual side and I want to be connected to my psychic abilities, third eye. And to me, it's like you have to start in the root, because this is literally the foundation of your building. So like if you just work on your third eye and your crown, you have no roots. And then the way it manifests is like you feel ungrounded, you feel unstable. A lot of the times it can cause like super unethical behaviors. Like you don't know how to set boundaries, you don't know how to respect boundaries, you don't know how to just like feeling your feelings, like actually feeling your emotions and feeling your humanness and being in your body. All of these are lower chakra stuff, because these are the upper three are related to spiritual realm, the lower three are related to the physical realm, and like the root is the foundation of your tree. Like this is why you have to start in the root. So the last piece of this video is how can you start opening and balancing, but in a sustainable, strong way, your root chakra. I first want to say, as someone who is Reiki practitioner, Reiki is not what I do, but I think Reiki is an amazing modality. But I also think it is important for you to become aware, how are you going to be using those modalities? And it's not just Reiki. If you're someone that is going to for sound healings and maybe even just like meditating for different chakras, this is amazing. Like this is great. Like keep doing it. However, there's a lot more to it. Like it's not the meat and potatoes. It's just the seasoning, right? Does that make sense? Because what I want to say is that in order for you to create a sustainable way where you open and balance all of your energy centers and you feel super, super solid and you feel aligned and you feel harmonized and balanced and whole within you, you have to be engaged in your own work. You cannot outsource your power. You cannot go to a healer to fix you. You cannot go to a healer to align your chakras. Yeah, you can do it and it's fine. I'm still doing it with my clients, but it's not the work. It's not, because let me tell you something. Like, let's say you're going to receive Reiki and your chakras are aligned. You feel so great. You feel amazing. You feel light. You feel just love. And then you come out of the room, you go back into your life. 2 days later, your partner is going to say something that is very, very triggering for you. Boom. You got triggered. Your 5-year-old self is now in the driver's seat and you are now operating from a wounded place. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, because this is part of the human experience. We're all experiencing that. However, if you're not going to that deep wound that is there, that it's literally sitting in your root chakra, and you're going to become aware of it, sit with it, allow the feelings and sensations and emotions, whatever comes up, to truly be there, being present with it, give it space, and then develop intimacy and relationship with it. If you're not going to do that, it's going to stay there. You have to be aware of it, and you have to work with it in order to transmute that energy. So I see a lot of people doing that. In order to truly transmute your energy, there's a lot of ways to transmute and move energy. There's a tons of different ways to do it. Literally so many ways. But it's not just going to sit in meditation or to receive Reiki. Now, again, I'm not saying it's not helpful. I'm saying this is great. This is great things to do, and it can be really powerful and it can be really helpful. However, if you want to create a sustainable, solid foundation within you, you have to be engaged in your own work. There's no other way around it. You cannot outsource it. So there's a few tools that you could use when you work with every chakra. So there's different colors you can wear, different foods you can eat, different essential oils you can use, different incense you can burn, different crystals you can use. So all of these tools are great and they're amazing, and I love using those tools in my own life, and also I love telling my clients to use those tools. So if you want to learn about all of these tools for your root chakra specifically, I want to invite you to grab the guide, the free chakra guide, in the description below, because it has all of these tools for every energy center. But I want to invite you to feel into, first of all, again, you have to, number one, more than 75% of the process, become aware. You have to become aware of what's actually happening in your root chakra. What are the actually beliefs, patterns, traumas that I am carrying within my root chakra if I want to open it? Now, I do want to put like something here. Because it's energy and it's infinite, it's multidimensional, I can tell you that when you start working with the chakras, it's not like it's infinite. There's always more layers. However, what I found is that there's a certain point that there's like a baseline that you can kind of remember the truth of who you are. You know who you are, you know why you came here, and then from there, you stay in that. And whenever there's something that's in the way, you go into the same process. You have the tools, you know how to process it, you know how to sit with it, you know, you have the blueprint of how to process something whenever it comes up in your life. And it can show up with a lot of, with a lot of different ways. It can show up in maybe you're getting triggered by someone or something. I mean, I see a lot of people, for example, like get really triggered or afraid by what's happening in the politics. To me, this is a portal. This is a portal. When you get triggered, it's a portal. When you get like a physical, mental, emotional things coming up, even if you're like getting sick or like there's an illness in your body, these are all portals. Every emotional, physical, mental, it's all portals for you to work with this thing that is in the way. Does that make sense? If you're noticing fear coming up in your life, if you're noticing issues in communication coming up in your life, if you're noticing you really want a partner, like a sacred, conscious love, and it's not happening, this is also a portal for you to, like what's in the way? What's in the way of me being in that energy? And to me, if I'm looking at from like the scientific brain that I have, like when I'm thinking about the energy centers, all it is, okay, this is really important moment. All it is, it's just misalignment. It's just an energetic misalignment that is happening on a very, very deep energetic level in your physical and energetic body. Because again, everything starts with energy, then it moves to the subtle body, which is emotional, mental, and then it moves slowest to manifest to the physical body. So by the time it got to the physical body, it's probably been there for a while, starting on an energetic level. And a lot of the times, again, we're talking patterns and traumas, that's been around for thousands and thousands of years, for generations and generations and past lives. Again, we're carrying in our chakras, in our energy body, in our bodies, we're carrying information for entire humanity. Okay? We're carrying the entire DNA of the human experience. Okay? So that goes like, this is why like there's so much. This is why when you want to heal your wounds, if you're going to want to work on things to heal, you're never going to finish. You're never going to get to a place where like, okay, I worked on everything, I'm good now. Because this is what we're holding in our bodies. It's literally entire humanity. Like this is the depth of what we're holding. Collective stuff, like everything from the collective and society, programmings and patterns and things like that. So to me, it's like, okay, get to a baseline place, and then everything that is in the way of you being in that place, you just process that. And then you just don't have to continue to look for wounds to heal, which is going to be infinite. So number one, you have to become aware of what is it that is in the way, right? And again, it can come in all these different ways that is kind of showing up in your life for you to like move through it. Number two, you want to set a very clear intention. Like this is really, I cannot emphasize this enough, how important this step is. Like, because when we work with energy, a lot of the times, like when I work with clients, a lot of the times it's not, I don't freaking know what I'm doing. It's about the intention. It's about the intention. Okay. So let's say you are working with like feeling safe in your body. So your intention could look something like this. My intention is to balance and heal my root chakra, specifically my sense of safety within my body. And then you can add micro sentences. You can make it the most specific that you need it to be for you, for where you're at and what you're working on. And the piece that goes with the intention is to, you know how when you started dating someone and you like can't stop thinking about them and they're always kind of like in the back of your mind? This is how I want you to be with this intention. Like I want you to have this intention in the back of your mind 24/7. like as much as you can, especially when you're using your root chakra tools, especially when you're wearing red, especially when you eat foods that are like for your root chakra, especially when you're doing physical things, when you do yard work, when you go for a walk, when you do exercises. This is all very like root chakra stuff. It's very physical. When you go and put your feet in the grass, like, so try to keep this intention 24/7 in the back of your mind, but especially when you are doing things and using tools that are for the root chakra. So going back to when you're going to a Reiki practitioner or when you go into a sound healing session, amazing. Now you have a specific intention that you are working with. And now if you're taking that intention to your sound healing session, like if you're taking to a sound healing event and you setting that intention for yourself, yoga too, whatever it is that you're into, whatever it is that you're doing, breath work, whatever modality that you're using, having that intention is going to lead you there. Because the thing about intention and how, like when we work with energy, it's like almost think of the intention as a seed. And when you setting an intention, you can literally think of it as you're planting that seed in the energy field. You're planting that seed in the soil for it to grow. You're planting that seed, and you don't have to, when you're planting a seed for like vegetables in your backyard, you don't need to be there every moment to make sure they're growing. I mean, yeah, maybe you need to water them. Most of it, the sun is going to do its job, the air is going to do its job, the soil is going to do its job. All you did is you planted the seed and you taking care of it and nourishing it as much as you can. But most of it is actually not in your control. You're just planting the seed and then you detach. It's not like you're always sitting there next to the cucumber. Oh my God, grow, grow, grow. And you're trying to control it to grow. Like it doesn't work like that. So when you're setting an intention, you're just setting it in the field, you're planting the seed, and then you just allow the energy to take you there. Because this is how, when we work with energy, this is how it works. Like it's about like just planting the seed and then allow the energy to lead us there. And trust me, because I've experienced it on my own journey, but also with my clients. Like it's going to lead you there. It's going to unfold on your journey. So with that, the next steps would be like really give space to the feelings, the sensations, the emotions, become aware of it, like give it space fully, and to develop intimacy and relationships with it. So a lot of inner child work, a lot of shadow work, a lot of, so the way that I'm doing it with my clients is we're going into something, any physical, emotional, mental, that thing that is showing up. Like I said, whatever portal you want to use, a trigger, a physical matter, whatever it is, we're going and we're start working with that. We're working with the sensation that is coming up. We become aware of it somatically, like shape, color, texture, character, whatever it is. So it's a lot of mix of like parts work, similar to like IFS, mixed with somatic experiencing, but the base of the base is deep chakra work. And when I do the energy weaving, it's like working with the energy of this energy center that we're working with, and like we're working on like restructuring that energy, because again, energy cannot be destroyed, it cannot be created, it can only be transformed or transmuted. So the energy already exists, we just need to align it. Like we just need to work on aligning it. So a lot of times when we're going into deep inner child work, with that process, there's actually a lot of energy that is being that is moved, like that is moving. So this is when we work with certain patterns or fear or anxiety or whatever it is that the client is showing up that is associated with the chakras, which is kind of the entire human experience is in this. The entire human experience is in this. And so we just like translate it into the physical body, and then we're going into giving it space and develop intimacy and relationship with it. And a lot of the times when we develop intimacy and relationship with it, with the, let's say, knee pain, in this case, whatever, all of a sudden we learn that this has been here for a reason, and it tried to protect me for whatever reason. And maybe my great grandfather put it here because there was some fear that was coming up, and it's been protecting me. And because no one looked at it since then, since that, let's say 10 generations before, because no one looked at it, then it's still here, because no one, it just kind of was neglected. So whenever we are able to look at it and then become aware of it and develop intimacy with it, then we're able to transmute it back into balance. And that's like how it looks like when we actually develop that deep balance in a very sustainable way. And so you see a little bit the difference between just going to receive sound healing, which again is great, but again, use your intention, become aware of what is it that you're intending to like work on as you're there, as you're with your body, develop intimacy, relationship. Like it's almost like just like really listening and working with those different parts and these different portals that are coming up in your life. Because every issue, challenge, matter that is coming up in your life, it holds gold in it if you know how to work with it. And the nice thing about it, the good news, it's not that difficult to do. And if you're someone that feels curious about that, I want to invite you to check out the link in the description below and schedule a free discovery call with me where we're going to go over where you at, what is it that you feel like you want to work on, and see if this feels like a good energetic match. I just want to thank you so much for listening and for tuning in, and I want to hear from you. So let me know in the comments your thoughts. Where does it catches you? Yeah, like what does it bring up in you? I would love to hear. Hope you have an amazing day.